His hand was still warm when he let go of hers. The silence between them cracked like ice under pressure. The restaurant, once buzzing with quiet clinks of forks and murmured laughter, suddenly felt like a stage. And I was center spotlight. Across the table, the man leaned back, gave me a lazy smirk, and said it with zero hesitation. "Your wife is something else. We've met dozens of times, and she showed me sides of her you'll never know." My hands didn't tremble. I didn't reach for the steak knife. I didn't raise my voice or throw the table across the floor like some cheap TV drama. I looked that bastard dead in the eyes, nodded slowly, and said with a calmness that surprised even me, "Appreciate the honesty. She's all yours now." She had just walked up from the restroom, heels clicking like gunshots on marble. Her bright red dress still swayed as she caught the last words. That smug smile she always wore when she thought she had all the cards, it vanished. Her face turned to stone. And what followed, no one saw coming. She stood there frozen for half a beat. Then she snapped her fingers in my face, snapped, and hissed. "What the F***CK does that mean? Nate? That's my name, Nate Turner. 38. Architect. Faithful husband. Used to be." I looked up at her slowly. I wanted to see it in her eyes. Guilt, panic, something human. But no, just irritation, like I'd spilled wine on her precious dress. "You want to act like a damn victim now," she hissed, pointing at the man across the table. "You followed me here? Are you insane?" "Followed you?" I laughed. "You used my credit card to book this reservation. Idiot." I stood. The entire restaurant was watching now. I didn't care. Let them see. This all started 4 months ago. Maybe 5. Her name is Ashley. Ashley Taylor Turner. She used to be this sweet, quirky girl who wore oversized hoodies and watched horror movies under a blanket with me. That version of her died sometime last year. Got replaced with someone colder, louder, crueler. The sarcasm got sharper, the compliments vanished, and soon all she ever did was correct me, mock me, or tell me to grow up. At first, I thought it was work. Stress. Hormones. Whatever excuse husbands make to avoid seeing the rot behind their own front doors. Then came the overtime shifts that made no sense. Makeup she never used to wear. Lingerie I never saw until I found the receipts. And worst of all, the dead stare when I kissed her goodbye in the mornings. Like I was just part of the furniture. Something she didn't even see anymore. Back in the restaurant, she tried to laugh it off. She reached for my arm like none of this was happening, like I was just having a moment. "Come on, babe, you're being dramatic. This guy." She gestured toward him with a flick of her wrist. "He's nothing. He's just a fling. It didn't mean anything." He scoffed. "You told me you loved me." "Shut the FCK up, Cody," she snapped, spinning toward him with fire in her eyes. "You said you weren't going to say SHT. And there it was. Confirmation. No denials. No lies to cover the lies. You told him you loved him?" I said slowly, every word tasting like acid. Ashley blinked. "No, I didn't mean it. Look, you've been distant, Nate. You've been cold. You barely notice me anymore. What was I supposed to do? Sit around waiting for you to remember I exist?" I felt that one. It went deeper than the rest. But I didn't flinch. I turned to Cody. "Take her." "What?" Ashley gasped. I said, "Take her. She's yours now. I'm done." She stepped forward, her face twisted in something between disbelief and rage. "You don't get to decide that, Nate. You think you're gonna dump me in front of some Denny's crowd and walk away like a hero? This is an AF**King movie." No, it wasn't. It was a train wreck. One she engineered. When I finally saw for what it was. And then it happened. Cody stood up too. Reached for her hand. "Let's go." But she didn't move. Her eyes darted between us. Her voice dropped. "Wait. You're serious? You're really leaving me?" "For once," I said, stepping around her. "Yeah. And you know what? You deserve each other." Then I walked out. I didn't look back. But that night, I didn't go home. I went to my brother's place. And what I found waiting in my inbox when I checked my email from his guest room changed everything. It wasn't over. Not by a long shot. I sat in my brother's dimly lit guest room, the buzz of his old fridge humming through the walls like a reminder I wasn't home. I hadn't slept. How could I? My wife scratched that. Ashley had been playing me for a fool for who knows how long. And tonight, in front of a man who'd probably seen her more naked than I had in the past 6 months, I told her she was someone else's problem now. But my gut wouldn't rest. So I opened my laptop. I wish I hadn't. There were 3 emails waiting for me. All from the same sender, anonymous.tips.lol@protonmail.com. No subject line, just a timestamp and a digital slap to the face. The first message contained screenshots, photos taken from what looked like a phone camera, low-res but unmistakable. Ashley, bent over the hood of a car, in our driveway, at 1:47 a.m. Her dress was hiked up. Her high heels were still on. And behind her? Not Cody. Someone else. Different tattoos. Different hands. Different F***king guy. I felt the blood drain from my face. The second email had a video taken from a distance, shaky, like someone hiding in bushes or behind a fence. You could hear them, whispering, laughing, moaning. I didn't press play. I couldn't. The third email was the worst. A Word doc attached. I opened it. A list. No title. Just dates, times, locations. With names. Some I didn't recognize. Some I did. My coworker's name was on there. My F***king boss's name was on there. 6 guys. Maybe more. The document ended with a note. She doesn't care about you. Thought you should know. I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened like someone had thrown a rope around my ribs and started pulling. I stood up too fast, knocked over the chair, and nearly tripped over my duffel bag. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to destroy something, but I couldn't move. All I could do was sit back down and stare at that list like it was a gravestone. How do you even begin to process something like that? It wasn't just betrayal, it was king demolition. My marriage, my pride, my memories all smashed to hell in 3 anonymous emails. Around 4 a.m., my brother, Eli, knocked on the door. "You good, man?" he asked, rubbing his eyes, voice raspy with sleep. I looked at him, dead-eyed. "You were right." He sighed, stepped in, and sat on the edge of the bed. "About what?" "Ashley." Eli had warned me before. Said she was a manipulative piece of work. Said she had that look, the one some women get when loyalty's just a word they toss around when it suits them. I brushed it off. I loved her. She was my wife. We had history. That had to count for something, didn't it? "I'm sorry, man," Eli muttered. "What happened?" I turned the laptop toward him. He didn't flinch either. Didn't need to. After a minute, he just closed the lid. "What are you going to do now?" That was the question, wasn't it? What do you do when the woman you loved, trusted, shared everything with turns out to be the architect of your ruin? "I don't know yet," I whispered. "But I know this isn't over." He nodded, stood, and patted my shoulder. "Whatever you need. I got you." And I believed him. Because Eli never lied to me. Unlike her. That morning, I took a shower, got dressed, and left the house before the sun fully rose. I wasn't going to Ashley's. I was going to my lawyer's. I hadn't seen Ashley since that night at the restaurant. I figured she'd try calling, texting, maybe even crying, but nothing. Not a damn thing. And part of me, the stupid part, hoped she would. Not because I wanted her back, but because I wanted to see her squirm. I wanted to hear her admit it. But she didn't reach out. She just vanished. Until she showed up in court. When I told my lawyer, Mason Burke, everything, every screenshot, every email, every lie, he nodded slowly like he'd seen this 100 times before. "Don't worry," he said. "We'll bury her in paperwork before she even finds a new apartment." We filed the divorce papers that same day. Adultery. Multiple counts. With visual evidence. 2 days later, Ashley's name popped up on my caller ID. I didn't answer. She left a voice message, her tone cold and casual, like we were discussing weekend plans. "Nate, I saw the paperwork. Really mature of you. You could have at least talked to me before involving lawyers. I'll be at the hearing. Don't think you're walking away with everything." The hearing. I wasn't even expecting her to show. But she walked in 10 minutes late, oversized sunglasses, tight black dress like she was attending a red carpet event, not our marriage's funeral. Cody wasn't with her. Neither was anyone else. But she smiled. She walked in like she owned the room. Like she wasn't the one who blew up our vows with every warm body that gave her attention. And when she sat down across the courtroom, she waved at me. Waved. The judge called us up, asked a few standard questions. Mason did the talking. Ashley brought her own lawyer, a woman named Clara James, slick and fake sweet with eyes like a wolf. They tried to spin it. Claimed I'd been emotionally unavailable, neglectful, focused too much on work. That Ashley had been lonely and unsupported. That her encounters were cries for attention, not infidelity. I nearly laughed out loud. Instead, I handed the judge a flash drive with the files from those emails. The list. The photos. The receipts. Mason introduced it with the cold efficiency of a man who'd seen every brand of betrayal. Ashley's smile twitched. Her lawyer objected, saying the material was unverified and potentially doctored. The judge leaned forward. Mrs. Turner, are you denying these are photos and communications between yourself and multiple men while you were married? Ashley didn't answer right away. Her jaw tightened. Then she said, I don't see how that's relevant to the division of property. That was the moment I knew. She had no shame, no regret, no guilt. She wasn't sorry. She was just pissed she'd been caught. After the session, we were dismissed to wait for the next hearing. I walked past her on my way out, and she reached for my arm. You really think humiliating me will make you feel better? She said through clenched teeth. I stopped, looked her dead in the eyes. No, I said, but watching you lose everything? That might do the trick. Then I walked out. I didn't go straight home. I parked by the river, stared out at the gray water. My phone buzzed, Eli checking in. I ignored it. My head was too loud. This wasn't just a divorce. It was a war. And I was done playing defense. It was time to go on the offensive. Because Ashley had one more secret she thought I didn't know. And I was going to expose it next. 3 days after the hearing, I drove back to our house. My house, technically, Ashley never paid a dime toward the mortgage. She always said she contributed in other ways, which I guess included parking herself in other people's beds. But I wasn't there to argue. I was there to gather what was mine and see what she'd left behind. The place was a mess. Empty wine bottles on the counter, a bra hanging off the stair rail, and the faint scent of some overpriced candle she'd always lit after. Well, after she'd done things she wanted to feel less dirty about. She'd taken the good TV, the silverware, some of my vinyls, too, just to be petty. But what she didn't take was the shoebox hidden under the floorboard of the walk-in closet. A box I'd long forgotten I ever hid there. And inside? A burner phone. I bought it 2 years ago during a work project in Detroit. I needed to keep business calls separate, and I never threw it out. Forgot it even existed. But when I powered it on, the battery blinked to life, and what I saw next nearly knocked the air out of me. 23 unread messages. All from the same number. All in the past 2 months. The name saved was T. The first message read, Missed your mouth today, Angel. The next, still thinking about Saturday. You were wild. Send me a pic. And another, you free this weekend? My wife said her sister's again. Let's make the walls shake. It hit me like a brick. Ashley wasn't just cheating. She was someone's mistress. Some married man, T, had been sneaking around with her like she was the stolen dessert at the end of a boring dinner. I kept scrolling, rage boiling under my skin. Screenshots, selfies, voice notes where Ashley moaned his name. Not Cody's, not anyone I knew. This was someone else entirely. And in one message, she said it. Nate's getting suspicious. I think I'll stage a fight and crash at my cousin's this weekend. That gives us 3 nights. Bring the good wine. I wanted to smash the phone into the wall. But I didn't. I screenshot everything. Forwarded it all to my email. Evidence. Firepower. Truth. But more than anything, I wanted to know who T was. I called Eli. Told him everything. He told me to bring the phone to him. Eli knows people. Ex-military. He's got friends who know how to dig. By the end of that night, we had a name, Travis Ellison. Local businessman. Owned 3 gyms in town. Married. 2 kids. Public Instagram with photos of him coaching Little League and holding his smiling wife like he wasn't hiding a monster behind that toothy grin. Ashley had been sleeping with a married father of 2. And he looked like the kind of man who'd kill to protect his reputation. The next day, I messaged Travis. No threats. No drama. Just this. I know about you and Ashley. I suggest we talk. Discreetly. Before your wife finds out the hard way. He didn't respond for hours. Then finally, I got a reply. Where? We met at an abandoned parking garage on the south side. Real spy movie stuff. He showed up in a Range Rover, hair slicked back, gold ring still on his finger. I stood there, arms crossed, as he stepped out. Nate Turner, he asked. I nodded. And then, without missing a beat, he said, Your wife is something else. We've met dozens of times, and she showed me sides of her you'll never know. That was it. That was the voice from the restaurant. The man who'd said it to me that night. I didn't flinch. Not this time. As Ashley walked up behind him, heels clicking, same red dress from before, I turned to him and said, Appreciate the honesty. She's all yours now. Her smile vanished. And what followed, no one saw coming. Ashley's smile died so fast it looked like someone cut the power behind her face. She wasn't expecting me. She sure as hell wasn't expecting him to be here with me. Travis, her secret lover, the married gym owner she thought was her golden ticket. And she definitely didn't expect me to play it this calmly. I watched her eyes dart from me to Travis, like her brain was glitching under pressure. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out at first, just air and guilt. What the F***CK is this? She finally spat, stepping between us like she was walking into a trap. Which she was. Travis just stood there, arms crossed, silent, his face blank like a poker player holding a losing hand. I answered, cool and steady. This is closure. She let out a dry laugh, but her voice cracked halfway through. What did you do, Nate? Are you seriously trying to ambush me with, what? Some therapy session in a damn parking garage. I didn't invite him, I said, nodding to Travis. He came here on his own. Thought we had some things to clear up. Ashley turned to him. Travis, what the hell are you doing? I told you not to talk to him. His jaw tightened. You lied to me. Said you were getting a divorce. She rolled her eyes. I am getting a divorce. He held up his phone, thumbed through something, then turned the screen to show her. You told me you weren't sleeping with anyone else. That I was the only one. You think I wouldn't dig? I didn't know what he had on that phone, but whatever it was, it knocked the color right out of her face. It wasn't like that, she stammered. Cut the crap, I snapped, stepping closer. You've been running around with every man who flashes you a smile. Cody was just the warm-up. Travis was your main course. But who the hell were the others, huh? The Uber driver? My coworker? Or were they just dessert? Her face twisted into a snarl. You don't get to judge me. You ignored me for months, Nate. You buried yourself in work and treated me like a damn roommate. What did you expect me to do, shrivel up and wait for your scraps? Travis stepped forward. You used me. Ashley spun to him, voice venomous. Oh, don't play the victim now. You were using me too. You loved having someone who didn't nag you about the kids or the bills. You loved it. He didn't deny it. But then came the moment none of us saw coming. A voice echoed from the shadows. She's right. You both loved it. We turned. A woman stepped out from behind a concrete pillar. Short, blonde, furious. It was Travis's wife. Ashley gasped. Rachel? Travis whispered, eyes wide. Rachel held up her phone, camera still recording. I followed him, she said, never breaking eye contact with her husband. He's been acting weird for weeks. And when I saw the message about a discreet meeting, I knew. I knew it was her. Again. Ashley took a step back like she was staring down a loaded gun. Rachel, please, don't. Slap. The sound echoed like thunder across the parking structure. Rachel didn't even hesitate. She smacked Ashley so hard, her earrings flew off. Stay the F***CK away from my family, Rachel hissed, pointing in her face. You're not just a whore, you're a parasite. Ashley clutched her cheek, eyes wet but still defiant. You think you didn't come to me? You think your perfect little husband wasn't begging me to? Shut up, I said, stepping between them. You've done enough. Rachel turned to me. I'm pressing charges. I nodded. Good. I'll testify. Travis stood still, mouth slightly open, as Rachel walked back to her car. She didn't even look at him. Ashley finally broke down. Nate, please. Don't let this get worse. We can talk, can't we? No, I said. You don't talk anymore. You lie, remember? She looked desperate now. Not because she loved me, but because the walls were closing in. I walked away. This wasn't just about divorce anymore. It was about revenge. And the next move would ruin her. I didn't sleep that night. Again. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Ashley's face, first smug, then furious, and finally panicked. That last look gave me something close to satisfaction. But it wasn't enough. Not after everything she'd done. Not after she looked me in the eye and lied, over and over. Not after she played victim, manipulated two families, and wore her betrayal like perfume. I wanted her to feel it. Not just the consequences. The humiliation. I opened my laptop. Inside that email with the list of names, the anonymous one, there was something I hadn't paid attention to before. A Dropbox link. I clicked it. Hundreds of files. Videos. Screenshots. Audio recordings. All Ashley. Some files were labeled by name. Others by date. One folder caught my eye. Hotel cam footage, room 419. I didn't open the video. I didn't need to. But I downloaded everything. And then I called someone I hadn't spoken to in years, Jordan Klein. He and I went to college together. Now he ran a pretty popular YouTube channel that specialized in exposés, cheaters, scammers, fake gurus. His channel had over 2 million subscribers. His motto? We don't cancel people. We just introduce them to the truth. I sent him a message. You want a real story? I've got footage, names, timelines, and a web of lies that'll make your head spin. It's about a woman who destroyed 5 lives pretending to be loyal. I'll give you everything, no filters. Just protect my identity. He replied in 5 minutes. Call me. We talked for 2 hours. I gave him the outline, the players, the lies, the footage, the married man, the parking garage showdown, even the slap. He didn't believe it at first, but once I dropped the folder link in his inbox, he stopped talking. 15 minutes later, he said, This is gold. Like, insane. Are you sure you want this public? Her name stays in. Mine stays out. Deal. I could hear the grin through the phone. We scheduled the release for the following Friday. He needed time to edit the footage, blur faces where needed, check legal stuff. But he promised the premiere would hit hard. That gave me time to prepare for the next court session. Ashley still thought she could come out on top. She'd already submitted a claim for alimony, claimed I'd emotionally abandoned her and that she had nowhere to go. The audacity of that woman was enough to make a priest curse. Mason, my lawyer, nearly spit out his coffee when he saw the documents. She wants how much per month? $5,000, I said. He blinked. She thinks adultery plus public humiliation equals a paycheck? She thinks she's invincible. Mason smiled. Let's fix that. The next day, I filed a motion to include her other activities as grounds to deny spousal support, along with a protective order to stop her from stepping foot in my house, my office, or anywhere near me. When Ashley got served the new papers, she showed up outside my workplace screaming like a banshee. I didn't go down to see her, but my assistant filmed everything from the 3rd floor. She screamed about revenge, about, how could you do this, about, you're nothing without me. Security escorted her out. 2 days later, the video dropped. Jordan's channel released the expose titled, The Woman Who Played 5 Men and Got Caught on Camera. It opened with Ashley laughing, pouring wine in a hotel room. It ended with a voiceover of her saying, My husband? He's too dumb to ever figure this out. Comments flooded in. Thousands. People were tagging her socials. Her Instagram went private. Then it disappeared completely. Travis's wife posted a TikTok confirming the story. It hit 4 million views overnight. People were making memes of Ashley's face. She wasn't just exposed. She was destroyed. I didn't smile. I didn't dance around the room. I just sat back in my chair and exhaled. For the first time in weeks. But it wasn't over yet. Because Ashley? She had one last trick up her sleeve. Just when I thought Ashley had been silenced, she came roaring back like a snake with its head half cut, wounded, desperate, and more dangerous than ever. It started with a letter. Not an email. Not a voicemail. A handwritten letter, folded in a pink envelope with my name in that familiar cursive I once thought was cute. It arrived at my office. My assistant dropped it on my desk, half smirking. She knew exactly who it was from. I opened it, expecting apologies, maybe some gaslighting. What I got was worse. If you think your little YouTube stunt was clever, think again. You forget I know things too. Things about you. About your finances. About your business partners. Keep pushing me, Nate, and you'll regret it. You want to ruin my life? I'll make sure you never rebuild yours. It ended with a lipstick kiss. She was unraveling, but still playing dirty. I handed the letter to Mason the next morning. He read it once, then twice, then raised an eyebrow. Is she threatening blackmail? She's threatening something. She knows about the restructuring deal with Harrington Group. It's sensitive info. If she leaks anything, it could cost me the contract. He leaned back in his chair. She's not just petty. She's stupid. He was right. Because the moment she made it officially hostile, we had cause for legal action on a new level. Mason filed an emergency hearing request. This time not just for spousal denial, but for a restraining order and defamation clause. But Ashley wasn't done. That same night, my mom called me crying. Said Ashley showed up at her house. At my mother's house. Crying. Begging. Talking about how I set her up, how I used her, how I staged the entire video as revenge for not giving me a child. A child? Ashley had never wanted kids. She made that crystal clear years ago. The idea that she'd throw that lie at my own mother was beyond disgusting. Mom, don't believe a word she says. I don't, she said. But she was shaking, Nate. Crying like she was dying. She's acting. It's all part of her show. I hung up and drove straight to my mom's. By the time I got there, Ashley was gone, but the smell of her perfume still clung to the porch swing. That's when I knew I needed to end this. Not just legally, but publicly. The next day, I reached out to Jordan again. Can we do a follow-up? He responded in seconds. Let's go bigger. We set up a full interview. Face blurred, voice altered. But my story, every disgusting, heartbreaking, infuriating piece, was going to air. This time, we'd include the letter, the visit to my mom's, the business threats. When the episode dropped titled, The Aftermath, what she did next will shock you. It exploded. People were horrified. Even the viewers who thought maybe I had overreacted in the first video were now fully in my corner. Ashley went dark. No socials. No statements. Nothing. Until the courtroom. Again. This time, she didn't wear red. She came in all black. Tight bun. No makeup. Playing the grieving widow of a marriage she murdered. Her lawyer tried to argue emotional trauma. That she was the real victim. That the online harassment had ruined her life. The judge didn't blink. She read the letter out loud in the courtroom. Then she asked Ashley, "Did you write this?" Ashley stayed quiet. "Mrs. Turner, yes or no?" Ashley finally whispered, "Yes." And that was it. Restraining order, granted. Alimony, denied. Defamation claim, dismissed on grounds of truth. Final divorce, signed that day. As I walked out of the courtroom, Ashley didn't look at me. But I looked at her. And for the first time since this hell started, I didn't feel hate. I felt nothing. The war was over. Almost. 3 weeks after the final hearing, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror and barely recognized the man staring back at me. Not because I looked older, though I did. Not because the stress had chewed into my features and left its fingerprints around my eyes. But because I finally looked free. No more games. No more lies. No more late-night panic attacks or waking up wondering if the person next to me loved me or was just playing me. Ashley was officially out of my life. Permanently. I didn't see her again. She moved out of town, according to Eli, who saw something about her applying for jobs in a different state. No one in her family called. Not one apology. Not one explanation. Good. Because if she ever called me now, I wouldn't even pick up. I had finally crossed the line from rage into peace. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't quick. It wasn't easy. The nights after the courtroom victory were still filled with shadows. I'd stare at the ceiling, reliving every word she said. Every moment I ignored the signs. Every lie I swallowed just to keep the dream of us alive. God, I was blind. I kept thinking about that night, the moment Travis looked me in the eye and said, "Your wife is something else. We've met dozens of times, and she showed me sides of her you'll never know." I'd hated him for saying it. But now I realized he'd done me a favor. He told the truth. He showed me who she really was. And instead of blowing up or breaking down, I walked away. That moment changed everything. And when I said, "She's all yours now," I meant it. She wasn't mine anymore. Not the woman I married. Not the woman who took vows and whispered forever. That version of her died a long time ago. All that remained was a shadow in red heels and a poisonous smile. But I survived her. And more than that, I rebuilt. The interview with Jordan went viral. Over 20 million views in the first month. And no, I didn't do it for fame. I did it because men like me rarely get to speak without being laughed off. We're told to man up, to get over it, to deal with it quietly. I refused to stay quiet. And thousands of messages poured in. Men, women, even teens. All thanking me for sharing the truth. No filters, no pretending. It reminded me of something simple. Pain only wins if you hide it. Today, I live alone. And for the first time in years, I'm okay with that. I wake up in a bed I paid for. In a house I built. With no one pretending, no one lying beside me, no one sneaking out to meet strangers while I worked late to afford vacations we never took. My brother and I hang out more. I reconnected with friends I'd neglected while drowning in Ashley's chaos. And sometimes, I even laugh again. Real laughter. The kind that doesn't have bitterness trapped behind it. Do I believe in love again? Honestly, maybe. But if it ever happens again, it'll be real. No more chasing red flags and calling them roses. No more falling for fake tears and twisted stories. I know better now. So if someone's reading this, maybe you're in it right now. Maybe your partner's lying, gaslighting, cheating while smiling in your face. Leave. Not because they don't deserve you, but because you deserve peace. You deserve mornings without doubt. Nights without checking their phone. You deserve love that isn't a performance or a manipulation. Take it from me. I walked through hell and came out clean. Ashley? She'll keep doing what she does. But me? I'm finally free.